Why is Malaysia the country America should pay serious attention to in 2025? Because the world is changing. Power is shifting. And Malaysia is quietly rising with strategy, stability, and leverage that few expected. In 2025, the global game is not only about military dominance or tech giants. It is about supply chains, trade routes, talent, diplomacy, and long-term strategic positioning. And Malaysia sits at the intersection of every one of those forces. Look closely. Every few decades a new region becomes the center of global competition. Once it was Europe. Then America. Then China. The next wave is Southeast Asia. And in that wave, Malaysia is moving from a silent middle power to a central strategic player. Not loud. Not aggressive. But effective. Consistent. Calculated. And America knows it. First, location. Malaysia sits on one of the most strategic pieces of land in the world, the Strait of Malacca. A narrow maritime corridor where almost one-third of global trade passes. Energy from the Middle East. Goods from China. Containers from Europe. Asia's supply chain heartbeat flows through Malaysia's backyard. Control the route, and you influence global commerce. Malaysia does not need aircraft carriers to matter. Geography already gave it leverage. The world realized it during energy route disruptions, shipping congestion, and trade tensions. America saw it. China saw it. The EU saw it. Every major power wants influence around this corridor. But Malaysia is not leaning blindly to any side. It sits in the middle, confident, neutral, respected. That is power. Second, Malaysia understands the new economic battlefield, supply chain security. After the pandemic, companies and countries stopped trusting single-source production. China plus one strategy. Diversification. Southeast Asia became the factory alternative. And Malaysia became the trusted entry point. Why? Stability. Predictability. Skilled labor. Manufacturing maturity. Malaysia has been assembling semiconductors for 50 years. Quietly, without noise, it built a base no other Southeast Asian nation replicates. While others chased hype, Malaysia built capability. Today, 13% of semiconductor back-end operations globally run in Malaysia. And advanced chip production expansion continues. US chip giants, European firms, Japanese investors, even Chinese technology companies are quietly expanding in Malaysia. Billions flowing in. This is not luck. It is strategic patience. America is watching because semiconductor dominance is the real 21st century power. Chips run AI. Smartphones. Cars. Defense systems. Everything modern. And America sees Malaysia becoming an indispensable node in the world's chip network. Not in headlines, but in supply chains. A country America cannot ignore. Third, Malaysia plays great power diplomacy like a chess master. Instead of choosing sides, it balances them. It trades with China. Partners with America. Works with Europe. Collaborates with Japan and South Korea. Maintains ties with the Middle East. Builds Islamic world leadership credibility. Manages ASEAN regional diplomacy. Malaysia does not shout foreign policy. It practices it with precision. While others get caught in superpower conflict, Malaysia positions itself as the neutral bridge. The safe partner. The middle ground. And in a world divided by geopolitics, the middle is the most powerful seat. Fourth, Malaysia's economic transformation is not hype-driven. It is methodical. It does not chase overnight growth by burning currency reserves or taking on unsustainable debt. It modernizes manufacturing. Strengthens digital infrastructure. Develops halal global trade systems. Attracts high-tech investment. Expands green energy and EV supply chain opportunities. Promotes tourism, education, healthcare, and Islamic finance. Quiet diversification. No boom and crash pattern. This terrifies competitors more than dramatic announcements. Because slow and steady wins in economic stability. And investors trust stability more than slogans. Fifth, Malaysia's currency and fiscal strategy. Many nations try to artificially boost currency strength to appear powerful. Malaysia does not. It chooses competitiveness. Export strength. Real economic productivity. Malaysia allows market fundamentals to shape the ringgit. That long-term realism attracts serious investment. And America understands competitive economies are far more durable than purely strong currencies. A country with smart currency policy becomes a manufacturing magnet. Malaysia is that magnet. Sixth, human capital. Education reforms. TVET modernization. English proficiency. Technical workforce. A rising generation that blends Eastern discipline with global exposure. America sees what Silicon Valley sees, talent. And Malaysia is no longer losing that talent permanently. Reverse brain drain is real. Professionals return. Diaspora invests. Entrepreneurs build local ecosystems. Foreign companies hire Malaysian engineers, data specialists, semiconductor technicians. America competes globally for talent. Malaysia is becoming one of its unexpected competitors in this domain. Seventh, political evolution and governance reforms. It is not perfect. No nation is. But Malaysia is stabilizing. Anti-corruption initiatives increasing. Investor confidence improving. Unity government strategy avoids polarization. Democratic resilience showcased through peaceful transitions. America respects functioning democracies. It also observes rising democratic competitors in leadership influence. Malaysia's stability is a regional asset. And stability is power in a world of crises. Eighth, Islamic world business leadership. Malaysia built reputational excellence in halal ecosystems, Islamic banking, Sharia finance, halal certification, fintech for Muslim markets, modest fashion, and Muslim tourism. 56 Muslim countries see Malaysia as a benchmark. America notices any country that becomes a global standard setter. Especially in markets representing nearly 2 billion people. Malaysia does not compete with America militarily. It competes in standards, markets, and soft power influence across a massive demographic group. Ninth, Malaysia is scaling soft power through culture, hospitality, cuisine, tourism friendliness, and digital storytelling. Americans travel to Malaysia and return surprised by safety, affordability, multicultural harmony, and quality of life. Social perception matters. Malaysia earns respect organically, not through campaigns. It surprises visitors. And surprise is powerful. 10th, Malaysia is not driven by ideology, but pragmatism. It talks to everyone. It trades with everyone. It avoids reckless alignments. The world sees chaos in political narratives from superpowers. Malaysia offers calm diplomacy. That calm brings trust. And trust brings long-term partners. Now, what does "America should be afraid" really mean in 2025 context? It does not mean conflict. It means awareness. Competition. Respect. Strategic attention. America does not fear Malaysia as an enemy. It monitors Malaysia as a rising strategic competitor in areas that matter: semiconductor production, Southeast Asian influence, logistics, Islamic economy scale, and global neutral diplomacy. A country that grows quietly is harder to control. Harder to predict. Harder to underestimate. America has learned not to underestimate rising markets. In the 1970s, nobody imagined South Korea would rival global tech leaders. In the 1980s, nobody believed Singapore could become a global finance powerhouse. Today many still do not fully appreciate Malaysia's trajectory. But superpowers do. Malaysia's greatest power is not loud nationalism or aggressive rhetoric. It is calm growth. Skillful diplomacy. Strategic patience. And domestic unity slowly strengthening. America respects rising countries that compete through innovation, stability, and supply chain control rather than confrontation. And Malaysia fits that category. In 2025, global competition is shifting from military pressure to economic positioning, trade networks, and technological ecosystems. And Malaysia is quietly building advantages across all three. America sees Malaysia attracting billion-dollar semiconductor fabs. welcoming Western and Chinese investment simultaneously, becoming key to AI hardware supply chain assembly, competing in EV components, scaling green energy and data center infrastructure, earning global halal leadership, modernizing ports and logistics hubs, leveraging its central geographic position, strengthening higher education collaboration with Western universities, and becoming a living example that a Muslim-majority nation can be modern, globally integrated, and economically ambitious without sacrificing cultural identity. That model matters. And America pays attention to models that work. Malaysia represents a future many developing nations want: balanced diplomacy, cultural confidence, economic stability, tech involvement, rising middle class, and peaceful global role. In a divided world, that balanced path is attractive. And the more nations admire Malaysia's strategy, the more influence Malaysia gains. Influence is power. So why should America pay closely attention to Malaysia in 2025? Because Malaysia is not just rising. It is rising smart. Rising quietly. And quiet success is the most dangerous type of success for competitors. It cannot be attacked. It cannot be dismissed. It cannot be stopped easily. It builds silently until suddenly everyone notices. Malaysia does not want conflict with America. It does not seek domination. It seeks development, stability, and respect. But in global competition, respect comes when a nation proves its strategic value. And Malaysia is proving it every day. In its policies. In its investments. In its diplomacy. In its talent development. In its supply chain position. In its economic diversification. America is not afraid of Malaysia as a threat. America is alert to Malaysia as a rising strategic force in a critical region. A nation shaping Southeast Asia's future. A reliable alternative to extreme power blocs. And a player whose importance grows with every ship crossing the Strait of Malacca, every semiconductor export, every investment dollar, every diplomatic balancing act, every infrastructure upgrade, every returning skilled professional, and every young Malaysian learning global skills. The world is changing. Silent nations are becoming central. And Malaysia, in 2025, is no longer in the background. It is at the crossroads of global economics, technology, and geopolitics. America sees it. China sees it. The world sees it. And soon, everyone else will too.